Hello guys, welcome back to S3D, and I'm actually making this video in response to my situation on Discord. I used to be in a couple of toy collection groups, and people are just not happy about my opinion about McFarlane. And apparently, a couple of years ago, there's a bunch of people making videos just hating on McFarlane's DC Multiverse line, and people kind of think like I'm trying to continue that whole situation. Uh, I feel like I kind of shot myself in the foot by starting this whole McFarlane situation anyway. So I do want to apologize for that. But anyway, uh, this video is not an apology video. This video is just me talking about my history of McFarlane toys. It actually goes all the way back to the late 90s, early 2000s, believe it or not. I have been casually collecting McFarlane toy stuff, although, I turn over my collections because I got other hobbies. Anyway, in the late 90s, I was a big fan of Metal Gear Solid. Big Konami fan. I'm not a Konami fan anymore. I really don't care about the whole Metal Gear Solid situation after they let go of Hideo Kojima and Konami. So, not supporting Konami, not supporting Metal Gear. But there's a history with me and Metal Gear figures. I was a humongous fan ever since they made the Solid Snake figure and the Gray Fox, also known as a Ninja. I got a couple of those, and those were my favorite figure of those time. Of course, there were like other import stuff like Gundam, Evangelion, and stuff like that. But the McFarlane toy figure really made me think like U.S. domestic action figures were like very very good. And when they came out with the Metal Gear Solid 2, with the build a figure of the Metal Gear Rex, that was amazing. So always, I always respected McFarlane ever since he started making these products, and I have respected him up until just a couple of years ago with the Swan figures. And well, we'll get into that, but I'm gonna continue the history about my history with McFarlane toys. I haven't been a McFarlane hater until recent history. All right, so ever since then, after Metal Gear, there weren't stuff that I was super interested in. I wasn't into his Spawn figures. I tried it, but Spawn just really not something that's, I don't really read comic books, so I just don't really care for Spawn. But I was sucked back into McFarlane toys when I got into Halo in like 2012 or something like that. I was actually a really big Halo fan. In fact, this channel used to be dedicated to the Halo fandom. I know it's hard to tell now. It's all like Gunpla and high-end collectibles situation, but I started this channel doing Halo Mega Constructs content. I completely rebranded the channel, got rid of all the videos. But people who been watching me since like 2015 knows what's going on there. But I was actually really impressed with most of his uh, Halo figures. In fact, I went back and bought a lot of them off eBay, and I enjoyed them. Even though they're a little bit outdated, but I still thought the scope was very good, and some of the paintwork were pretty decent. But unfortunately, I think in the late 2013, 2014, he just kind of started giving up on the figure, with the Halo 4 line and the Halo 5. I feel like, he just, since Mattel actually took over the line in 2015, 2014, or something like that. The last couple of waves just got like phoned in and stuff like that. But for the most part, they're still mostly good. And if I have a chance to pick these up, at a decent price, I would, highly consider some of these. I know the price on these have gone up because, they're considered vintage toys at this point. Yeah, some of them were definitely really good, especially the Halo 3 stuff, like the Brute Chieftain and all that other Flood figures. They got really good sculpts. And yeah. All right, so my first major disappointment from McFarlane Toys actually come from South Park. He started doing these construction toys. It's like South Park and Five Nights at Freddy. At the time, when I was doing this channel, I was focusing a lot about brick-based construction because I do a lot of Mega Constructs related content, and I also did a lot of Lego construction. So I thought these things would like fit right into the channel. So basically, I got the entire wave of all the South Park figure, and they were just quality control issues like everywhere, from paint to the sets not even being able to hold together due to the poor manufacturing process. I have built like thousands of brick-based construction toys from mega brands as well as Lego, and I know mega brands sometimes have like quality control issues with the tolerance on their parts. Sometimes it gets really bad, but McFarlane's parts are literally like the worst. They're like literally like dollar store quality stuff, and he put his name on it. And I also have a lot of viewers who actually buy stuff from my eBay store. I was like buying these sets. Uh, you know, online. I was buying a lot of these, and then I was selling them off. A lot of my customers from overseas, like in Europe, actually bought a lot of these sets, and they end up, paying a lot of money for these. And they come with missing parts. They're not incomplete, and it's super disappointing. Like, I went to the customer service, and basically I got no customer service whatsoever from McFarlane Toys. To the point that I just feel like he really doesn't give a shit, or the company, probably not him specifically. Obviously, whoever he put in charge of the customer service just doesn't give a shit, and that says a lot about the company that he built. So that was really really disappointing. And another disappointment is the whole McFarlane Toys Doom license situation. He had this license for over 4 years. The game got delayed to 2020, but in the 4 years that this game's been out, him having the license, he did a multiple version of the Doom Slayer, and he gave us one villain character, which is the Marauder. And Marauder got a recolor, and then he did the classic Doomslayer figure. And now that guy comes in three different flavors. You get the standard version, the green one, and then you get the red one, and then you get the freaking which one? The Amazon exclusive, the glow in the dark one with like no painted details, and it's like $30, right? The what's that? The gold label glow in the dark edition, authenticated limited edition. What is it, like Street Fighter or something like that? But yeah, it is very very disappointing. The figure, like the sculpts were good. Like I said, like I really don't have a huge problem with this his sculpt work. Even with the stuff that I make fun of quite often on this channel. I don't like the way they do the faces. Okay, I think all the female figures are just like, just terrible. When you have companies like Hasbro and Mattel doing a better job than he is, it's just kind of weird. Like the McFarlane's was like well known for having superior scope work compared to like other companies in the 90s, in the 2000s. And I don't know what happened here. You know, it's just kind of weird. And the way he does his articulation, I feel like most of them are just really phoned in. It's like they come up with a really good sculpt and then they just like, okay, add the articulation here and there. And that's it. It's really, really half-ass. The figures aren't like engineered like some of the NECA figures are, or any other company. I think even Hasbro sometimes do like a better job at engineering these articulation on the figure than McFarlane Toys. So yeah, 4 years, we what do we get? We got a gold label, glow in the dark, freaking authenticated limited edition figure of the Doom Slayer, like no paint job whatsoever. And then we get a BBTS exclusive with the Crucible. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just really really disappointed with the Doom line. There's like no other characters. I don't know, man. All right, so finally, it comes to the DC Multiverse line. Now, I do actually want to do a commentary about the Spawn line as well, maybe at the end of this video. But I think the main focus here is just the DC Multiverse. I mean, seriously, it's like mostly Batman, Supermans, and a whole bunch of characters that I honestly don't think like kids care about, right? He's making these characters for adult collectors, and then he argued that these things are being sold to kids, and kids don't like to buy female figures. Well, majority of the people that I know, that I talk to, who are actual collectors, would say otherwise. Most of these characters are stuff that kids are not familiar with. It's mostly being bought by adults. I would say at least more than 50%. Let's just be fair, because he does do some of these movie characters that maybe kids are familiar with because they watch the movies and stuff like that. But for the most part, I don't know how many kids know who Red Tornado is, or the Vampire Green Lantern, or like these obscure characters like Steel and stuff like that. I just recently did a review on Steel, right? I said the scope was good. I said like the painted detail was very very lazy. I mean, those are facts. It's like I'm not purposely hating on the company, hating on McFarlane just to get views. I'm just giving you guys like constructive criticism, right? You know, I was watching Anthony's Customs review, right? And he's a very well respected reviewer. He gave the figure 0 out of 10, right? I gave it a 6 out of 10, right? To me, there's some redeeming quality. I do like the scope. I don't have to agree with everybody else, but I do like the scope. I think the scope is okay compared to his other stuff. I definitely think like all the female figures could have much better sculpting, especially all the Wonder Woman, right? But it's terrible. He has an opportunity to make a really really nice figure at a solid price point, but it just seems like he always missed the mark here and there, right? I think this is more like constructive criticism than me just like straight up being like a troll, hating on the brand. But yeah, people can label me whatever they want. I feel like there's so much potential here that's just being wasted on like, laziness or like stupid things. you know? I don't really care about the recolors. There's so many recolors. Every company does this. He's pretty good at like just bullshitting people when it comes to like the recolors. It's like look at how many recolor of the Mortal Kombat Spawn figure that there was out there, right? That's like a running joke. And another thing, right? He also made like a Twitter post a couple of years ago. I think I talked about this in my previous so-called, you guys call it the hater videos, about his stuff being like the top selling uh, toy line or something according to MPD. Well, I do have a, a link to a video by Nerzog. Uh, what's that? The NWO, the guy who owns the Nerzog shop. He did a very detailed analysis of comparison to Hasbro and stuff like that, which I think is credible. So I think McFarlane is he's a classic bullshitter. He bullshit about a lot of things, and he lies a lot too. Very typical uh, behavior for McFarlane to overinflate and sell people bullshit information. So I really don't think the DC Multiverse was the number one selling toy line in 2021. After observing all the credible evidence against it, to me at this point, I think it's complete bullshit. But yeah, anyway, so in conclusion, I think like his products has good potential. I think basically what he needs to do is just go back to the drawing board and design these things that are grown up to be actual action figures, instead of just like statues that have phoned in articulation. And not only that, I think the head sculpts on these figures definitely, especially the human characters with the actual face showing, you know, could be a lot better. He takes creative liberties based on the source material because the figures don't look like the the artwork that's featured on the trading card or on the box. Most of them, anyway. And so basically, like he's able to take creative liberty on these figures. So why not make them, look better? Why can't we have decently priced figures that look really good, right? I mean, I don't think it costs money to make a figure look better, right? It just it like all these things could be done in a way that just put him ahead of all the other companies. But I guess he just decided he wants to make these half-ass figures, and then become like a topic for people to discuss about, to hate on. It's kind of ridiculous. I don't know why he put himself, the company, in this position, right? When they can be so much more. And that's my honest opinion, actually. All right, so we're gonna end this with the Spawn stuff. So yeah, essentially in the Spawn line, it's like he's doing a lot of these weird characters, a lot of these megafigs, and some of them does actually look good. But I feel like this line just have so many reuses on these figures, especially the original Spawn figure. I mean, it got recolored like 20 times, and then he just keep coming out with these like obscure Spawn characters that I don't know if anybody actually even care about. The Mandarin Spawn got recolored like 5 or 7 times already. And yeah, I don't really know. Like the manga Spawn was like the worst Spawn figure ever. I don't know what he did there. But I've never been a real big, Spawn fan. So I really can't say much about it. I was actually just really, really disappointed with all the recolors of this particular version of Spawn. When he came out with this gold label Curse of the Apocalypse Spawn, that was it for me. After I got that figure, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stop being a sucker. I don't even read Spawn comics. I know some of these characters look cool, but why am I spending money on these kind of stuff? Oh, actually, lastly, this is kind of related to Spawn, but I was actually a huge fan of his Raw 10 line, those articulated statue figures of like crazy animals. I really, really like those figures. But unfortunately, I think he killed the line, so there's no reason for me to buy those figures anymore. The Cygor figure, I love that figure. I actually gave it to my good friend who owns like my local hobby shop for Gunpla. I think I sold it to him actually for like less than nothing. I put like 20 hours of work hand painting the Cygor to make him look super cool. And I think if you go into my custom videos on the channel, you can still find that Cygor. That was a really, really nice figure. So yeah, I mean, I think my criticism on McFarlane is sound. I do not pride myself on just making ridiculous videos, just hating on someone on purpose for like no apparent reason. I think there's a lot of potential here, and I think he can do like so much better since unlike Hasbro, everything has to be approved by the board of directors or whatever, right? This is a guy who runs his own company with his name on it, right? I think he can make all the changes he want and like just like make the company so much better. But he's just out there trying to be like everybody else. So yeah, I think that's it. That's my opinion about McFarlane Toys. Thanks for watching.